Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And welcome to the 21st online seminar presented by George Yamagata. My name is Shoma Kato with Yamagata Prefectural Government, and I'll be your host. Well, today, we are at Casual Central Building as we always are, but it's a little bit special. We are in Dining and Bar Ritz Suite on the 24th floor of this building. As you can see, this is the top floor of Casual Central Building. This place is located right next to Yamagata Station, so it's within an easy access, has a great view with a relaxed atmosphere, and of course, Ritz Suite has fine cocktails and whiskeys, along with amazing dishes. Ritz Suite is a must-visit place when you come to Yamagata. Okay, enough with my talk. It's about time to start. To begin with, George Yamagata, the organizer of this event, has a few words for us. Please.
Hello, my name is George Yamagata, connecting Yamagata's startup ecosystem and the world. Today, we host a variety of startup players from Berlin, Yamagata, and Shibuya. This is our first attempt of English seminar, and everyone is so excited. In this hyper-connected world, no matter where you live, you can create innovation. On the other hand, your place, building, and nature around you would largely affect our inspiration. COVID-19 has prevented us from communicating directly, face-to-face, but we found a new tools for communications. Now that we are stepping into a new phase of society and economy, today I want to talk with panelists for creating hybrid startup ecosystem among our cities. Let's enjoy and looking forward to having good time. Thank you.
Thanks, George. So why don't we move on to the panel discussion? Today's topic is exchange of ideas, thoughts, and passion for Japan-Germany startup ecosystems. Let me introduce the panelists here. Mr. Daisuke Yoshida, CEO of Yume Cloud Inc. Dr. Tatsuhiro Takahashi, professor at Yamagata University. Mr. Patrick Barkowski, Chief Technology Officer and founder of INURU. Mr. Bastian Schwithal, CEO of Go Sake Project. And Mr. Katsuro Tasaka, Director of Global City Promotion Office at Shibuya City Office. All right, now, I'm turning it over to the moderator, Mr. Goya Kobayashi, who is the Executive Director, Department for Innovation at Yamagata Prefectural Government. Mr. Kobayashi, the floor is yours. Feel free to take it away.
Thank you so much, and welcome to our George Yamagata online seminar. My name is Goya Kobayashi, and I would like to firstly welcome you to this excellent seminar. First of all, I would like to tell you about the goal of today's session. I like beautiful discussion, but I like the concrete action more. Therefore, let's talk and create concrete innovation among us. So, firstly, I would like to have a very, very short introduction from you, just 1 minute or something like that. So Yoshida-san, could you introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, everybody. My name is David Yoshida, CEO and the founder of the Yume Cloud Inc. and the Yume Cloud Japan. We set up the company in Silicon Valley 2014 and 2019 with the invitation of the Yamagata University. We set up the company Yume Cloud Japan. We are developing the system and the services to detect your stress level and how to improve your stress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoshida-san. It's very nice technique that you can check the stress with using AI, because nowadays we should stay at home and we had a lot of stress. Therefore, I would like to use your system. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Takahashi-san, could you introduce yourself?
Good morning to people in Germany, and good evening to the people in Japan. And my name is Takahashi, and I'm a professor up to 6 o'clock, but after 6 o'clock. And I have been working as an international collaborative interface, especially Germany and Japan. I've been working as a business interface. And today, I have asked my friend, Mr. Patrick Barkowski, and related with audit, fascinating technology. And I hope, and I'd like to connect not only within this panelists, but also the audience and for the future action. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Takahashi-san, I totally agree that our whole panelists and the whole participants in our George seminar is friends and George Yamagata community. Therefore, I agree with you, and let's do more. Okay, so next, Patrick-san, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, I'm Patrick Barkowski. I'm the CTO from INURU. What we are doing is we are printing our LEDs as a core technology, but mainly our products are implementing or integrating light into any kind of surface and creating light-human interaction on any surface. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm interested in that topic, so later on, let's discuss. Okay, Bastian-san, welcome again in our session. Could you also shortly introduce yourself, please?
Goya-san, thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Bastian. I'm calling from Berlin today, stormy Berlin. We have a big storm right now. All the trees are falling apart, so it's quite crazy at the moment in front of my window at least. So some crazy stuff going on. I'm the founder and CEO of GoSake, which is a company which has the aim to connect Japan and Germany on sake business side. And we invented this wonderful little bottle, which is GoSake, which is a bottle which helps especially young people and new target groups to understand the Japanese culture from the sake side. And we are a 4 years young company, and we're expanding right now. So looking forward to the exchange of ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your great sake. And yeah, next time maybe we will have a Kampai event in the George Yamagata seminar with GoSake. But today, let's talk. Okay, thank you. And Tasaka-san from Shibuya, could you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you so much. My name is Yoshiro Tasaka, Director of Global City Promotion Office from Shibuya City Office. And then our role is to make Shibuya as a global startup hub. And I'm really looking forward to discussing our future collaborations with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Tasaka-san. George Yamagata once said to me that he is very thanks to you for inviting last time in your ShipTech seminar, online seminar. He would like to join again. So please think about it. Okay.
Yes, please.
Great. Thank you. So now let's move forward. Firstly, today's session is, today's topic is exchange of ideas, thoughts, and passion for Japan-Germany startup ecosystem. 4 years ago, I worked in Berlin and met Bastian-san at that time. And we had a very, very nice time when I lived in Berlin. I try together with many friends, we established an online startup platform called Japanese Startup Platform via Skype at that time. And around this platform, there have been many friends in both countries. And I realized that many people think when I talk about this collaboration between Germany and Japan, some people said, oh, it's a great idea, but it is very difficult to enter into another market because of the language barrier and the regulatory something and so on. But in my opinion, I think it is also very important to exchange ideas, thoughts, and passion, even though there is still not a concrete trade or market expansion itself. Because nowadays, we need more ideas and the perspective to analyze social challenges and so on. And before creating a new business, we have to think about a lot of, this gap between the reality and our goal. And it is very effective and efficient to exchange idea of another ecosystem players, another players from another startup ecosystem, because we can have the perspective in totally different way. For example, Bastian, could you again see, let us show the, yes, Go Sake bottle. This is Bastian's invention. Bastian and other friends have created this bottle 4 years ago. And this is from our street conversation, maybe in the Berlin Strasse. We drink coffee on a very sunshine day. It was very nice. And at that time, Bastian said, hey, Goya, I'm interested in sake, but the sake in Berlin is very expensive because it is 720 milliliter. It's big, and it costs around 20 or 30 euros. It's very, big hurdle for the beginners of sake or those who would like to just have a, taste of sake. And Bastian said, yeah, let's have a, small sake bottle. This is the beginning of, I think, Go Sake project. And then I show him a picture of Japanese sake bottle. This is 1 cup sake. 1 cup sake is, like a cup, and on top of that, there is a stainless cap on it. And this is 180 milliliter. It's small. And normally, elderly people drink this 1 cup sake in train with very fishy dried fish or something like that. So this is Japanese normal stereotype image. But Bastian said, oh, it's very cool. I would like to distribute this 1 cup sake to Berlin younger people, for example, in disco. This is, different viewpoint to create innovation. This is very vivid. Therefore, I really believe that just exchange of idea between totally different ecosystem itself is worth doing, even though there is still not a market expansion or real trade. And this online seminar would foster this kind of friendship or communication or collaboration. Therefore, I think at the first time, I would like to ask you 5 to introduce not just your company, but also your city or your ecosystem like Berlin, Yamagata, and Shibuya. What kind of good point does your city have? This is my first question. Yoshida-san, could you tell something?
Hi. I cannot see any difference between the Yamagata Prefecture and the Silicon Valley. Actually, I stayed in Singapore 6 years and traveled a lot in Asia, China, India, Australia. I started the company in Asia, then I moved to Silicon Valley and stayed in Silicon Valley about 20 years. I talked to the many people, the many different people from different countries, China, India, the Europe. Then I currently moved back to Japan since 2 years ago. Then stay in Tokyo, but the back and forth, Yonezawa and Tokyo. I cannot see any difference between the Yamagata and the other countries. People are very nice. They back me up very much. I never thought the difference of the people. Good people are good people, bad people are bad people. I cannot see any other points at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoshida-san. This is very unique idea because many people say there is difference, but you said there is no difference. This is very important because from Yoshida-san's perspective, you can work at any in any place, and you are, I think, hyper connected with people and all over the world. This is partly because you find no difference among cities. This is very wonderful aspect.
Because we are working remotely from other countries at this moment, yes. Because our employees are working Silicon Valley from other countries and talking with them every day. So our place is not different. It's not the important thing. We are connected the worldwide basis now. So where we live is not important, but how we connect and who you connect is most important.
Thank you very much. I take note how we connect and with whom we connect. This is important. This is very insightful idea. Thank you so much. Takahashi-san, you have been connecting Japan and Germany for many years, and I'm very, fascinated with your idea or concept. And from your experience, could you tell us something about the beauty of the city, and also could you comment on Yoshida-san's perspective?
Yeah, I think Yamagata University asked Yoshida-san, come to Yamagata, and because the Yume Cloud has a fascinating technology. And so what I want to say is, of course, the people is the most important resource. And for example, and kind of people having a passion, people having a diversity, those kind of people get together, then create new idea and to take next step. And so from that point of view, and of course, Yamagata, from historical point of view, Yamagata is recently the birthplace of organic LED OLED, worldwide first kind of in industrialization, commercialization, and also innovation, OLED lighting, and so on, of course. And but previously, the Yamagata is the birthplace of notebook computer, and also 100 years ago, Yamagata is the birthplace of the fiber. Why we have this kind of innovation? I think that people come here and challenge, and one people cannot do the commercialization. One people needs to collaborate and then motivate, interact. I think those kind of atmosphere, passion, that is important. And of course, and I am a researcher professor, but also I would like to become kind of a interface to connect people. For what? For innovation, kind of connecting the people, and is really necessary for the next generation innovation coming from the diversity, how diverse people get together. And I would like to utilize this Yamagata as a hub to make to create. And I hope I would like to make this Yamagata more kind of atmosphere, and who everyone welcome and make diversity and so on. That means, of course, not only the idea and also kind of a tradition, culture, including sake culture in Japan. I'd like to utilize everything and for kind of innovation. That is kind of my perspective point of view. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. And Patrick-san, do you live in Berlin now?
Yes, I live in Berlin now. I'm in Berlin.
Okay. Yeah, when I lived in Berlin, there are very interesting places in, for example, Kreuzberg or other eastern part of Berlin. And the building was old, but inside of such building, there are very, very interesting people in many co-working space. And I would like to create such kind of space also in Yamagata Station. And here is such place. And let's create more. And could you tell me something about these Berlin co-working space or share space ecosystem? I think this is a very important place to meet people and exchange of idea and boost your passion. Could you tell me about such a ecosystem in Berlin?
Yes, I mean, usually had in Berlin a lot of old buildings that were mostly unrenovated, and people didn't know what to do with those buildings. They didn't only want to sell them out to make expensive apartments. This also happened, but this was not the main goal of the city. And since the city was really thinking about the people in this way, they looked for concepts. And someone somehow at one point in time came up with the concept to have these co-working spaces, and it established, because especially for young people, that want to do a startup, mostly in IT. They don't need much of infrastructure. They just need, at the beginning, a good PC and a good internet. And even sometimes the internet in such spaces is better than at home or in your garage. So this is how it developed, and it's quite cheap. And also it's a mental attitude that you don't wanna sit at home the whole time in front of your PC, not speaking to other people. You want an exchange. If you're one or two founders, especially when you're alone, a single founder, then you're isolated from the society. And this has a huge drawback on your mental status, I would say. And it's very, very helpful, not only in business networking perspective, but also for your well-being to have such co-working spaces where you can exchange with people and be motivated more, and therefore be also more productive.
Thank you, Patrick-san. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Whenever I get into the co-working space, some new face is there, and some old face is there, and we three become friends. And I really like this atmosphere in Berlin, and I still very good to remember. By the way, I did a farewell party in co-working space when I left my job. And of course, Bastian was there. And I also invited my ambassador. And the drivers for ambassador says, I've never drove to this place. This is what the driver said. But my ambassador, Mr. Yagi, was very, very pleased to have such atmosphere with embassy people and the startup people and big company people in co-working space. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why Embassy of Japan is still, doing more for startup ecosystem between Berlin and Japan. So thank you so much, Patrick-san. And Bastian, I remember that you normally live in the co-working space in Kreuzberg, near from a very delicious Turkish restaurant. And where do you normally live? Of course, COVID is a bit difficult, but still, I would like to know your working space and its good point for your business.
Yeah, it's like Patrick said. It's the co-working spaces are very important in Berlin, and I moved from Kreuzberg with my co-working desk to Moabit because there's a food and beverage focused innovation hub, which is run by Edeka. It's the Food and Tech Campus, and it's a good connecting point for startups and entrepreneurs which are in the field of food and beverage and tech. And it used to be an old parking lot, and they transformed this to a wonderful innovation center. And as Patrick also said, I love and like, especially after all these lockdown phases, the exchange of ideas, and to leave the tower of working at home and exchange ideas. I brought you also, if it's interesting, some new numbers from Berlin, especially from the startup field, because it might be quite interesting. About 50% of all startups in Berlin are B2B business focused, which is quite interesting. About 770 startups were founded this year, which is a rise in comparison to the year before, which is a good sign because it shows also that after Corona lockdown, people are getting out again with their ideas and found businesses. And about 80,000 jobs are generated by the startup ecosystem in Berlin. So Berlin is definitely is the hotspot for startups in Berlin, and also one of the venture capital places in Europe. And what I also like, or the number is, it's about 30% of startups work in the field of software as a service. So software and tech becomes more and more an important portion of the startup activities. And about 60% of venture capital in Germany is going to Berlin, which shows also how important Berlin as innovation and startup hub is. And I totally agree also with Yoshida-san, which said it's all about the people. It's about connection. And it's a question about exchange of ideas. And this is also what I like about this format, that we have a chance to talk to each other.
Great, thank you, Bastian. Later on, could you show us the picture of your space orbit near from Edeka? Because I want to know the new space in Berlin, which are filled with food and beverage companies. It's very interesting, and also I'm very impressed by the number which is created by startup companies. I think that our society should be always refurbished every time, and in Yamagata the ratio of startup is very lower ranking in all over Japan, and many young people have a job in Tokyo or in Sendai, in big city. But as Yoshida-san said, and as Takahashi-san have created, there are a lot of fascinating startup company in Yamagata, and when this has been more, when we boost this tendency, then Yamagata's young people can find a interesting job here in Yamagata and can communicate with other cities. So I'm very impressed about by the number of the job which startup have created so far. Thank you so much. And Tasaka-san, you are a kind of hub in Shibuya's startup ecosystem, and please show us something about Shibuya startup ecosystem.
Okay, thank you. So Shibuya is a part of Tokyo, and probably everybody knows famous clothing. And Shibuya is a trendsetter. Young people comes to Shibuya for fun, and then so Shibuya's ecosystem, startup ecosystem, started maybe 90s, and then probably still #1 startup city in Japan. We have 2,000 startups, and then like hundreds co-working space, and 150 IPO companies in a very, very concentrated area, maybe like 300 radius in Shibuya stations. So we have easy to access to so many like VCs and people's, like, we have a lot of human resource here. But I think to compare with Berlin or other startup city and global startup cities, we have still so many issues. And then I'm hoping that working with other cities, we can grow Shibuya itself, but also Shibuya can serve as a gateway to Japan's local cities like Yamagata. And then so we started a startup visa. Now foreign startups can come to Japan, come to Shibuya through us, city governments. And then, but then, like, you can go to Yamagata after that, So I want to collaborate with Berlin and Yamagata and make each other's better startup city. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Tasaka-san. And could you elaborate a bit more about startup visa, which you are now thinking of? It's very interesting idea, concept.
Yes, so startup visa is actually designed by Ministry of Economy and trade and industries. And then I think right now 13 local cities in Japan are using a startup visa program. And then probably Fukuoka is one of the most active city to provide startup visa. We just started, Shibuya just started. But I heard from Fukuoka City that many people apply to Fukuoka City's startup visa because Fukuoka has a very strong support system. However, after they got startup visa, they moved to Tokyo. So it's kind of sad for them. You know, they support foreign startups and then they leave the Fukuoka. So, but then I thought like, why Tokyo start 1 year startup visa, you know, to provide foreign startups. And then we started, and then we got a lot of inquiries from foreign startups. And then I think so far we issued like 10 startups visa. And then, but because of the COVID, of course, they cannot come. But I'm seeing that the interest, the foreign companies want to start a business here. And then because of the COVID, people, I think, now think we can work everywhere. Could be Berlin, could be in Japan, could be Yamagata, and then no difference. So, but startup visa is kind of good tool for those who interested in working in Japan.
Thank you so much, Tasaka-san. Okay, so now we heard each characteristic of each city, and which is very interesting and very meaningful explanation. And now we move to a topic of entrepreneurship. This means I think you all have worked in several startup ecosystems so far. And, you know, apart from staying just in one city, you have been connecting several cities in your business. And my question is, what these, you know, connecting makes your business more attractive? And firstly, I would like to ask Bastian about how to invent your one go sake between Berlin and Japan. And could you tell me about that?
I think for us, the biggest challenge in the beginning was that we had to understand the difference in cultures, which is, I think, on one hand, it's very good to know, but it's also in the beginning very challenging, because for us, it was, for example, quite new that you should never approach a Japanese company directly. That is always necessary to have somebody who is helping you with introduction, like a liaison manager who helps you to get in touch with the company and to says and to speaks for you. And this is where I recognize it's very good to work together with the organizations and institutions in Japan, like a JETRO or the Japanese embassy or the regional systems. And as soon as you have a bit of deeply understanding of the cultural differences and you get known to the people and you get known to the connection, it's getting very easy. So I can always just say also to people who are planning to do business in between countries like Germany and Japan, it's very important first to get a feeling for the cultural differences, to understand the culture, and then find a way to interact with each other and find also helping partners. And probably this was the most challenging thing for us in the beginning, to understand how to approach each other in such a professional way that you can really do lasting good business with each other.
Okay, cultural difference. Okay. Patrick-san, do you find such cultural difference between Japan, Germany, and what does this affect the business itself? Or do you don't see such difference in your business so heavy?
No. I would fully agree with Bastian that it's very important to understand how the cultural differences are if you want to progress in a specific area in the world. It doesn't matter where it is. For example, let's stick with Japan and Germany. The formalities are different, but also, like Yoshida-san said, the people inside are the same. So there are good people and bad people, but on the outside, the formalities, and this is very important to separate this. What are the outer appearance formalities? And you need to understand them and behave accordingly to them. But nonetheless, in the inside, the people are all the same. Yes, they have the same motivations and the same goodwill. And I think, like Bastian said, it's absolutely agreeable. This was very, very important also experience for us to have a spokesman that actually makes the introductions to the Japanese companies. Yes.
Thank you, Patrick. This is important that the formality is, I think, the most biggest hurdle for the foreign people to enter into Japanese market. But once you become a friend, it's not a big issue. I would like to hear from Yoshida-san about your opinion about this conversation, please.
I think most important thing is the engagement to the company. How to increase the engagement. You don't have to manage the people. If you can enhance engagement level of each person, then they are motivated and they are willing to support other people, other team. This is the most important thing. And I think as the people say salary is important and the quality of the role is important to motivate the people. However, most important thing is whether you like the vision of the company and whether you like the people of the team. And if you have the same vision of the company, then people don't care much about the salary. Actually, our company is paying much less than other company. Very sorry to the employees and the staff because we are a startup company. We don't have money, and we are raising money right now. And people understand situation, but they are working very hard to have the same vision and the dream. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoshida-san, for many important elements for to build a trust among people, and this is in turn also they are also important to think about, for example, Jooji Yamagata's startup ecosystem in Yamagata for the near future in this building and so on. Support quality, role, and whether you like the people or not. This is much more important than the perfect surface money or number or something like that. Thank you so much for Yoshida-san for that. Takahashi-san, you have been building a lot of collaboration between German company or universities and Japanese companies or universities. And could you tell us some tips or the reason why these projects have been successful so far? And yeah, please.
Yes, and I have seen many kind of a win-win kind of a business contract and between SME and company, large company, university, and of course, kind of to make win-win situation. Kind of course, kind of a common things is face-to-face communication with looking at product. And normally, and we are dealing with kind of a hardware, kind of a material, and even the software. So looking at kind of the manufacturing place together, we're looking at the laboratory, looking at the product together, then face-to-face discussion, and then so to establish win-win and can help each other, and looking at material and so on. So that is kind of one side, and that should be common maybe all over the world. But on the other hand, and we have arranged what we call intercultural training between Germany and Japan. And Germany people is very and logical and too efficient and too logical, and the question is too direct. But the Japanese kind of a company's question is always kind of a gentle and indirect, and those kind of difference, kind of a productivity and a direct question, okay, from German people to the Japanese people, and then the Japanese people are kind of cannot accept and to some degree at the beginning, and those kind of difference I have been helping, and also the Japanese people's question is always kind of a mild and indirect. And of course, to the German people, we have to ask direct, and what is the essence? What is the bottom line? Those kind of interpretation is always necessary. But of course, at the end, necessary things is kind of a win-win, can help each other. And purchasing and buying and selling and purchasing can be, or co-development, how we kind of make kind of a win-win and helping each other situation. But the way is, I think, maybe opposite. Yes, because the Japanese society kind of not so productive, but we share. Okay, but the German people and so the very productive, very logical. So those kind of difference, I think, and as a collaborator interface, and I have to understand and then kind of do some translation and interpretation. That is my feeling. So.
Thank you very much, Takahashi-san. I totally understand what you said. When I speak in German language, I'm very direct, more director than German people. in Japanese language, I'm very vague. So my colleagues are very embarrassed. So it's very understandable. Thank you so much. But again, not just language interpreter, but also cultural interpreter is sometimes very important. When you are not so hyper connected person like Yoshida-san, or when you are not so familiar with other ecosystem, even within Japanese cities, between, for example, Shibuya and Yamagata. So the element of interpreter and very friendly interpreter is necessary. Thank you. Tasaka-san, you worked in Silicon Valley for many years, and you went back to Japan in Shibuya. So what did you do so far to connect Silicon Valley's ecosystem and Shibuya's ecosystem? Or what do you want to do more with Berlin, where you, as a panelist, participated in some week ago?
Yes.
Well, it's been challenging, to be honest, because when I joined the Shibuya City, COVID-19 broke out, and then it's almost like everyone's, but it's hard to meet or you travel to other countries. So so far, I haven't been to anywhere, but meantime, for example, like one of advisors actually is Justin. He's from the US, Justin Polderon, founder of Zynga. He recently started a company called Preco. So he made a successful company in Silicon Valley. Now he came to Japan and he made another successful company that they raised 100 millions, both from US and Japan. And then that was really interesting for me. And then I'm so fortunate to have Chika. I think she's here, but she kindly became our ambassador. So I think like a person like her or like Justin's, I think I could connect with like other part of the world. And then yeah, like again, like we've been discussing about like connections, but it's so fortunate that those people can connect Shibuya to other cities, even under this circumstance. And then I'm so lucky. And then the other things I wanted to mention after Takashi Sensei's comments, then because I spend a lot of time in the US, I really struggle to adapt my own cultures, Japan's. And then it was so hard to adapt. And then we have people in, so even Japanese, among Japanese, like people are so different. For example, like people in a city office, people in central government. I think Kobayashi-san is so rare. It's not the typical government people, but and then like big corporations people or like startup people, like they're all different. Like it's like foreigners. So and then that's why it's so important for me to be as a like serve as interpreters between the industries.
Thank you, Tasaka-san. So now, normally when we have a startup event, the first session is to introduce your products and the company. But I sometimes do it and I failed because this becomes too long and this becomes very boring for other participants. Therefore, today it's different. How to say ungefähr. By contrast, we now I would like to hear your company and the products, and let's say something. Let's mention about how to connect with other cities and your dream. So, Yoshida-san, could you, if you have a PowerPoint slide, let's show it to us. And could you tell your business and your visions, please?
Okay, thank you. Do you think it's better I'm going to show you the demo?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I think it's better for the people to have the image of this. I try to switch to the iPhone, but
okay.
Security, I can show it. But
yes,
I'm
please take time.
Show you something. This is a device that we developed. pulse sensor, the very accurate, and I'm going to see stress level of the person with the 3 minute, very accurate. Then can you see this?
Yes, yes, we can see it. Thanks.
After 3 minutes, the measurement of the pulse, then you're going to lead a very short sentence. And this system is going to detect the fatigue level of your brain, right? There are 2 times. And the system is going to compare the first time and the second time. Then going to see the difference. Oh, now the 3 times. Okay, the complete. Then you're going to answer some question. The very quick, the questions, the once a day. I completed today, so I cannot do that. Then go back to the level. And this is a report going to show the status of your emotion and the stress level. Questionnaire and the pulse and the brain fatigue level, then comparison from the last time. This is a unique chart that we developed. Okay, this is a plot which integrate the vital data, and this is a integration of the questionnaire answers. We are going to see the difference between what your own thought, and this is a measurement result. If the difference is big, then you have the problem. Okay. So this is what we are doing, and the very details of the measurement data and your own thought. Okay. Then I'm going to show you the company presentation. So this is the measurement. This is a pulse sensor, and you're going to see the stress level from this, and from the voice, you're going to see the fatigue of your brain. Then every 2 weeks, you're going to have the counseling from the professional counselor, and we analyze the facial figure. Then this is a questionnaire, and this is a model which I explained to you. The emotion is plotted into this circle, and we are checking how far between your measurement data and what you think. And all these plot can be sorted to the different type, very in good shape and very busy, and you are a little bit depressed and you are not interested in. This is actual measurement data, the 1 person, 2nd person, 3rd person, 4th person. The first 2 weeks and the second 2 weeks. And each person has a different type. And this person, for example, the very strong stress every week. And this person is very emotional. So even though I don't see the people, I can know the character of each of them. And what we are trying to do is we analyze each person or each company or each division, the character of these people. And then we're going to see how we're going to make a countermeasure to make these people into the best status, which is a good engagement for the company. This is what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoshida-san. Like blood pressure, you can check your mental condition using this voice checker and AI system. Thank you so much. Great. Now, Patrick-san, could you tell your business and your future plan?
Future plan, yes, sure.
Please.
What do we have here? Let's go with this one. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so basically what we do is we turn any kind of surface into a computer. This is a very simple statement, and this is what we are working on. Things that we realized so far is, for example, the illuminated labels for Coca-Cola, for the bottles. There were special editions. The one in the picture now is one of the first versions. There are different kind of activation mechanisms that we implemented and developed, which is sound, touch by human hand, or human approach, so like a proximity sensor also inside. The whole electronics is thin as paper, as you can see, compared to a normal smartphone. The electronics is just a piece of thin paper. Here I got some videos that can show. I don't know if you can see it shining when it's being touched. This is the version of the Coke bottle. And this is, I think, the most successful campaign that we did. It was for the Star Wars movie, the Coca-Cola. This was launched in Singapore. So they got quite some awards for the marketing with this kind of product. We sold quite a few bottles of those, and they were very happy, and people were going crazy about those bottles. There will be a nice picture how the people are standing in a queue in front of supermarkets to actually have a chance to win one of those. What we also implement is different kind then of the light feedback that you can receive from your surface or your product. As you can see here, for example, like blinking. And the goal is to have this, the utilization is to have this in the supermarket where you can then gain attraction to your kind of product. And this is the first iteration of products that we realize with different kind of customers of this technology that we developed. Also, one case of a product that we did was the Bombay Sapphire. Not the blue one, because there's another one which was shining blue. This was a different kind of technology. We did the one that was white. Talking about sensors, there's also different kinds of sensors, as you can see here with my co-founder Marcin. When he's passing by the products, they start illuminating. This is together with the proximity sensors then in the package and the piece of paper that you have. And this is the most I would say sexy product that we did. It is with the sound sensor. So basically the software now in the label, as you can see, the software now in the label takes the sound outwards and it can filter all the noises in the background. So the shining happens only to the beat of the music. So you can hear a lot of noise in the background and still you have this very nice effect then for claps. Very easy integrated smart light solutions and different kind of surfaces and products. Mostly what we show here is the paper kind of products or bottle labels. What we are also working now is in molding for car, automotive interior, for different kinds of casings, clothing, fashion. Those are all kinds of products that we are developing now. And how do we do it? It's very simple. It's OLED. Maybe you know it. You know it's in your smartphones. Most of the smartphones nowadays use OLED technology. What we developed is basically a very cheap way how to produce those and how to have them adapted to any kind of shape, very fast and very cost effective. And then it's integrated with different kind of printed electronics to finalize the product, which is like a smart label. Yes. And why we do it is very simple. This is the queue for the Star Wars bottles that people were taking into account. They were standing for hours just to have a chance to get one of those bottles. Where we go, and this is the funny aspect, and this is the vision and the motivation where people come and like to work with us and for us. This is this. We're going to have then basically any kind of surface, any kind of package, not as a one-time use product. The goal is to have those, and the packaging and the casing of typical products should not go purely to recycling. It should not go in single way use. What we aim for is have a real circular usage of packaging. So you don't need all the logistics to get the materials into recycling. You can at least use them up to 5 times before you would recycle them. So the video on the bottles is what we are working on, really, from the beginning. Or on packaging, another example here. This allows for a lot of features and a lot of disruption in a lot of markets. And this is us. We invite you for a beer. You need to bring good mood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. I will visit you for beer with your package. And I'm just wondering how Bastian think about this for Go Sake package. Anyway, thank you so much, Patrick. And so the next is Basti. Could you tell your business or project and your dream?
Yeah, of course. Patrick, first of all, impressive presentation. Very impressed by the solution and by the energy flows where your attention goes approach. And yeah, our approach is without the light a bit similar in regard of attention. Our news product will be sake tonic in a bottle. Maybe one day if we have the budget, we can also afford your solution, Patrick. So let's keep in touch on this. And we figured out, for example, sake is itself, not just in the size of bottle, but also in the way you introduce it to the market, is a very crucial momentum in Europe. And we invented the sake and tonic pre-mixed drink. And it's very interesting because if you give it people for a tasting, you have probably a conversion rate of 80% of people which like it. So that's quite high for a beverage you might not know. And if we do pure tastings with sake, it's about 60%. So it's about 60% of the people might like a sake. So you lose about 40% for the first taste. And the interesting part about new products and new approaches, you win more target groups. And this will be also our aim. We want to expand the cooperations with Japanese companies and also breweries. And also we want to expand the market and go to different countries now. So a lot of plans to come. And yeah, I definitely have a feeling we all stay in touch because I think I have a feeling there's a lot of points where we can get back on and where we can improve our talks.
Thank you, Bastian. I think Tasaka-san will find an interesting point about Patrick's products and Bastian's products because Shibuya or Tokyo is one of the biggest city in the world. The population of Tokyo metropolitan city itself is 10 million, but many commuters go into Tokyo, greater Tokyo regions, and the number of the population is 30 million people in one city. And there is no other city like Tokyo in the world. And Shibuya and Tokyo have created a lot of very fascinating food and beverage culture. And I think Tasaka-san will welcome Patrick and Bastian when COVID-19 become more better. And what do you think, Tasaka-san?
Yes, thank you for the great presentations. As Kobayashi-san mentioned, Tokyo is definitely a trendsetter. So we have a proof of concept programs for startups. So far, we have done 26 proof of concept projects with the startups within a year. And then actually, if you can send a product, like you can do maybe a proof of concept here in Shibuya, and then maybe that's a good start. And then we have a partner companies like Sapporo Beer or like Itoen, the tea beverage companies, and actually Coca-Cola is here in Shibuya headquarters. And then and then we have so many department stores sells sake, and then we can have events or something.
Great, Tasaka-san. And we should also not forget Yamagata. Last week, I visited a SME producing a small connector, for example, for smartphone or Oyster card like in London and so on. And Yamagata is famous for its manufacturing. And I think the many companies, SMEs in this region can contribute to foster your very fascinating ideas, and especially in food tech or beverages and other things. And what do you think about this idea, Takahashi-san?
Yes, and of course, and for the SME and small and medium-sized companies, and of course needs some new development. And of course, and they do not have enough people, they do not have enough money. So then for the SME and existing Yamagata, if they can utilize startup company like Yume Cloud or INURU or Go to Sake or the startup company from Shibuya, so that would be great. So I agree, and so let the SME to utilize or to collaborate startup company, and so to do something new. And yes.
Great, thank you, Takahashi-san. I work for the prefecture government of Yamagata, so I should do something advertisement as a role. So please allow me to do so. Our governor, Ms. Yoshimura, she said to me that the future of Yamagata will be created by startup companies. This is what she said to me. And she's 70 years old, and she asked me about how many co-working spaces in Yamagata are there in Yamagata? I was very surprised to hear that. This is what our governor said to us. So this means even though the startup ratio is lower than other cities in Japan, in Yamagata, I think the future of Yamagata's startup ecosystem is very, very positive and promising. And using this kind of interaction among cities and among trustful people, I think this is possible. And in this building near from Yamagata Central Station, we will have 200 square meters co-working space, just 2-3 minutes from Shinkansen train of Yamagata. And also last 2 weeks ago, I visited Yonezawa, where Takashi Sensei's university is there. And Yonezawa is very famous for manufacturing. And I found a very nice space on the second floor, in the second floor of Yonezawa station. There is a souvenir shop, and there is not so many guest people here. And next to the souvenir shop, I found a door which tells this is multi-purpose meeting room. And what is this? I opened this. There is also 150 square meters space. And I asked the mayor, is this frequently used? He said, no. Okay, so let's make this co-working space for Yonezawa Station and Yamagata University people and business person from Tokyo. And yeah, let's do it. This is what we are now talking with many local stations, as well as train company, the biggest train company in Japan. And now this is very important because from Yamagata Station, we do not have to get rain when we reach Shibuya, because we directly connect to the Yamagata Station, and this bullet train bring us to Tokyo Central Station, then change and Shibuya Station, and I can meet Tasaka-san. So very easy and quick and direct. So this kind of transportation, as well as this kind of online communication, makes us closer and closer. And we can make a very impactful innovation among us. And I promise that now that we will host this kind of meeting more frequently. So let's do more. And thank you for your very nice talk. So at the last moment of this seminar, I would like to ask you just 1-2 words for creating this kind of hybrid connected ecosystem among us. So Yoshida-san, could you tell me something about it?
I really appreciated your time. You had the opportunity to connect these nice people. That's it.
Thank you very much, Yoshida-san. So Takashi-san, please.
From my point of view, I think Mr. Tasaka and Tasaka-san and I and two of us are kind of related with kind of a producer or collaborative interface or business interface. And the key to foster the networking and should be this business interface, collaboration interface. And that is why, and of course, by utilizing this chance, and I'd like to connect Yamagata with Shibuya through Mr. Tasaka and Tasaka-san. And so the key is to make and Tasaka-san kind of a more kind of closer to Yamagata. Of course, and the Shinkansen, and also the face-to-face, and those kind of collaboration interface-driven kind of a technology innovation or networking kind of motivation. And so that, and I would like to kind of propose, and by utilizing this chance, and with Mr. Sasasan, and of course, and Yume Cloud, and the Go to Sake, and of course the INURU, and kind of we'd like to connect these companies somewhere, the company in Japan, or sometimes, and the startup collaboration makes sense. However, sometimes startup and big enterprise, this kind of combination might be necessary, and to help the startup companies and so on. So we'd like to think about flexibly how to connect for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Takahashi-san. Flexibility is very important. Thank you. And Patrick-san, could you?
Yes, I'm very happy to be invited here. So thank you very much for this again. And it's always nice to meet motivated people that have a vision in a particular field, want to connect, want to network, and want to move things forward. And this is very important. And it's not that we should always expect something. I think this is the best attitude, but we should take the things we can get with gratitude. And this is what I'm thankful for you. And I will be happy to meet any of you if you're in Berlin, or I'm planning to visit Tokyo in April next year. So maybe we can connect there as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick-san. Yeah. Okay, Basti, please.
Yeah, I'm also, as Patrick said, very grateful to be to join this great communication channel here today and exchange ideas. I think the momentum for especially Japanese and German exchange of ideas is very good because we have these great way of interacting via technology, which is a good thing, and also via great people like Goya-san, who is helping to bring the communities together and the scenes together. And we also have in Berlin recently a new, not a new, but a new hub, which helps to connect Japan and Germany. It's the Japanese Center, which is there since a longer while, but it's run by Dr. Münch, and she is really helping a lot to connect the communities also in Japan and Germany. And maybe we can also do some future events there together. I think that could be also a future hub for interacting with each other. So, and I would like to help where I can help with my network. So let's bring this to the next level. And thanks again for having me.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Myuhi is a very powerful key person, and also Chika Yamamoto-san is very nice person to connect us. And thank you very much for your great words. Thank you. And last but not least, Tasaka-san, please.
Yes, I looking forward to have more dialogue like this, and then create collaborations between like 3 cities. We've been doing an experimental project with Kobe City, which is a Noroshi project, which is teaming up the startups between 2 cities. And then, so maybe CEO is in Kobe and then engineers in Shibuya, but we want to expand this project with other cities. And maybe we can try like Berlin and Yamagata and Shibuya and stuff. So yeah, like this, I want to have more collaborations. Thank you, Kobayashi-san, for bringing up these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasaka-san. And thank you again for all participants for today. And also thank you very much for the great coordination for all of our staff in Yamagata Prefecture. So now I give my microphone to Kato-san, please.
Thank you, everyone, for showing us your fantastic products and sharing your amazing thoughts. As one of the viewers today, I must say that I was amazed and motivated somehow. And even though I had zero ideas about startups or any of this, but now I felt like I should quit my job and I should start creating something new by myself. Sorry, I'm not supposed to give my personal comments here, but I couldn't resist. I was motivated and amazed that much. To end with, George Yamagata has some words for us, please.
Thanks for the good discussions on the startup ecosystem among different cities and countries. I hope every participant found new challenges and new chances as well. Now is the time to do more and to have a concrete step for collaboration. I hope you will get in touch directly and create new project. Next week, George Yamagata presents online seminar will have the topic of changing business. There are many traditional companies in Yamagata facing the COVID-19 and other changes. They are trying to change their business in order to fit them new ages and new social demand. We will discuss on how to accommodate with these changes and how to collaborate with each other, especially among players in the local economic ecosystem, like banks, entrepreneurs, and public organizations. I hope you will also join the seminar next week and have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, George. So that's all for today. Again, we appreciate all of you joining us today. The next seminar is on Thursday, 28th November. So see you everyone next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.